You know, it is very, very rare that I find a product that I end up buying myself and I'm like, why the did I not get this product before? And again, it's a rare thing to happen, but it has happened to me so far at least 3 times. Well, actually 4, there's 4, but 3 products I'm definitely going to talk about. The 4th one I will potentially talk about if you guys are interested. But anyways, today we're going to be talking about the first of these types of products where I'm just like, I cannot believe I did not buy this before. And that is power banks. Power banks have completely changed my filmmaking workflow, particularly these guys. These are the Iniu P63 power banks. These are 100 watt power bank with a 25,000 milliamp hour battery basically into it. The reason why is because just the sheer workflow and just with some MacGyvering, customizations as you kind of see right here, which I'll get to later. I basically have not touched any of my V-mount batteries in like months because of these guys. So I want to talk about what I absolutely love about these, why power banks are potentially going to be the big sort of innovator space in the filmmaking world, and why Iniu with these little power banks is going to be potentially a go-to for that. All that and more in today's video. What's going on, everybody? James Jackson here, back again with another video. If you're new here, I do tips, tricks, news, and reviews for the film and video making industry. So if this is content that you like, definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell so you can stay up to date on all the content going forth. And normally I would be in my studio, but I just needed to get outside, get a little bit of fresh air. So you're probably going to see some cars going by, so I apologize in advance. But let's get into what we're here to talk about, which is this guy or this guy. These are the Iniu P63 power bank fast chargers. These guys are essentially, as I said at the top, these are power banks that can deliver 100 watts or 45 watts or even an 18 watt hour. It has 3 outputs that you can charge anything that can connect to a Type-C port. So your phone, your laptop, your cameras, the list is endless. Even your lights. If your lights have Type-C chargers or Type-C connections or a way to connect to Type-C, it will power your devices. And I guess we should talk about the thing that makes these guys so biz. The first thing is just how small. Like, look at this, guys, right here. Look how tiny this is. And I don't have a V-mount with me, but I'll probably cut to some B-rolls to show you sort of the size difference, but it's a massive difference, even for something like my 75 watt hour core batteries, which are pretty compact. They're nothing compared to something like this. Which makes these great. They're 99 watt hour batteries, which means you can also take these on planes without issues. They're small enough that you can chuck them in your bag without any issues. So the compactness is one of the things I absolutely love. And then when you can do something like what I have done here, which is basically put a V-mount plate on the back of it to which you can connect to some sort of V-mount. You got a V-mount setup, you could connect these on the tap and then still just use the tops. And that's basically how I've been running it. And it makes the whole camera size much smaller and weighs so much lighter. And this has been a joy, especially with something like the Cinema Camera 6K, because of it just reduces so much of the weight, and it just makes being able to shoot longer even better. Also, if you have something, say like you have a clamp that has a V-mount, you can basically just put this at the back of your tripod and just clamp it to whatever you have, and then just snap it on there and then just run power. And again, we'll get to power and durability in just a second. The next thing that I absolutely love about these is the price. The black version, as the last time I checked, was $66 on Amazon, and I will leave a link to a description below, which yes, it will be affiliate link. No additional cost comes your way. I just simply get a little commission to help continue to do stuff like this for the channel. So if you guys are definitely interested in this, which you really should be, again, it's $66 just for the battery. And even if you don't use your camera, just for the sheer travelability of this, it's an amazing thing. You should check it out. Again, $66 on Amazon. If the price is updated, I'll make sure to put a note about it in the video, but check it out with the affiliate link down in the description below. So back to the price, which makes this sort of more of a very appealing thing, because you can essentially get 2 of these guys for the price of one 100-watt V-mount battery that is on average $120. You could get basically 150 watt-hour batteries. Instead, you'll get 2 100 watt-hour batteries and that can power multiple devices and multiple outputs. Gives you a chance to potentially hot swap. For the value system, it's insane. And you'll see more about this value system as we go on and sort of the workflow that I've been using. And essentially, this is one of the reasons why, again, why I've sort of, not necessarily just stopped, I'm no longer using V-mount batteries, but I pretty much have been reduced to very, very little use of my V-mount batteries, but only for larger projects where I need to utilize most of these, because the benefit of these is they just outweigh a lot of the things that V-mount batteries do. And I think that's a good segment to talk about it. Let's talk about some of the capabilities. First, about the power. As I mentioned, it's a 25,000 milliamp hour battery. So what that means is, in terms of ampage, if you don't really know, basically there's a combination of the amount of ampage that a device has combined with volts will basically give you the wattage power. And in that sort of relationship, ampage is basically, think of it kind of like the size of the hose that water runs through. The bigger the hose is, the more water can go through at a continuous rate. Ampage is sort of the same thing. The larger your ampage is, or your milliamp hour is, the longer the voltage and the charge you can send, or the power you can send through your signal to basically power your devices at a continuous rate. One of the things that most people think about, especially something like the Cinema Camera 6K, is that the battery life is so short. It's just that, while true, but a lot of it has to do with how a lot of these smaller batteries were not designed to deal with high ampage outputs, which something like the Cinema Camera 6K needs. So it's really more about, if people can build high milliamp hour batteries, they will along. And this battery is sort of a case in point. With the Cinema Camera 6K, this one battery can power it for 3 hours, or even up to 3.5 hours, depending if you have a battery in the camera or not. If you don't have a battery in the camera, it will go longer than 3 hours. I think it will go to somewhere between 3.5 to 3 hours and 45 minutes because it doesn't have to worry about charging it. But that's what this high milliamp hour battery is great for, because it allows you to put the high output charge, which is about a minimum of 8 volts, into the camera without worrying about running out. So that's one of the great things about this because of that high milliamp hours. So 3.5 hours on just one battery. It even gets even better because, again, that milliamp hour also means the battery can ingest high wattage of power to charge itself back up at a really faster rate. This is something that is one of the problems with V-mount batteries, is that with V-mount batteries, most of their charging is very limited because they have very limited milliamp hours. So there's only so much charge they can take in, and it takes significantly longer. Like, for example, my 75 watt hour batteries, that if I put 2 volts of charges into them, it will take them roughly about 1.5 hours to charge, which is still pretty fast, but I would have to put 2 deplug ports into it to charge it in order to charge it at a faster rate. With just a single 100 watt cable, or something that can charge 100 watts, which pretty much you can just get any computer power that has 100, and you can put it that way, or you can get another power bank that can charge it. But the point I'm trying to make is, this will charge up to 100 watts in about 45, 50 minutes. Significantly faster. But it also means that if you were to get 2 of these for something like the Cinema Camera 6K full frame, you can essentially have one of these down to like 15%, take that off, hot swap it, put the other one on, and before this one even goes dead, the original one you had will be fully charged and ready to go. Now, you will need special cables for something like the Cinema Camera 6K in order to utilize it that can connect to that 12 volt port that's designed for the charging. But again, it's something that can really, it's because of how light it is, it makes things way more easier, especially building a system that you want to do light. And on something like the FX3, it's even crazier lighter, because then again, this one battery will pretty much power it for like 6 hours, 7 hours, which is insane. So pretty much you can power off of just one of these for one day. But I don't even use it for the FXs because I get quite a long lifespan of my batteries. I just essentially, it's like if I have just this one sit down where there's a long tape, that's when I plug this in. Otherwise, I just stick to the normal batteries that are in the FX3 just to keep the camera down and compact without having to fully just build this full out rig system unless the production needs it. And this would be a great segment to go into sort of the workflow with these. So I do have one of the small rig, like little compact adapters that lets you have a V-mount plate on it. And essentially I use that on both my FX3 and my Cinema Camera 6K for series of shoots that I need to really rig it out, use something like a wireless system or need other stuff on it. So I build that up and then I just use this to power the camera and then maybe one other device. Because with both the Cinema Camera 6K full frame and the FX3, I could basically use these on and these multiple devices and they will power them without issue. And so that's one way I look at it, but really that's only for like if it's a more serious long where I have the camera in one place for a while and it needs to just be constantly running. But most of the time, what I really do is basically I have this on, say, a tripod, and I have it there, lock it in place, so I can keep the size and the compactness of the FX3 and the Cinema Camera 6K and just use a clamp that has like a V-mount plate and lock this in here. And by the way, if you want to know how you can get this set up right here with the V-mount adapter, I've already made a video about this, but I will definitely leave a link up in the description below. Oh, yep, and down in the description below, but also I'll leave a link up here so you can check it out. And the setup right here with everything you need, both including the glue that I used to put this together, it really only costs less than $100 in order to put all this stuff together. Now, I want to also be clear, this isn't the perfect system for every scenario. Obviously, if you're looking for a V-mount batteries or a battery system that can power multiple devices, this may not be the best solution. But I'll say this for mirrorless cameras, if you're running off mirrorless cameras, something like the Cinema Camera 6K that can still put output but not an insane amount of, it needs a sane amount of power, you can use this and then power out, say, one other device like a monitor, or maybe you have some sort of wireless device. You can still do that, but your options, again, are going to be limited depending on this battery. So in that case, in those situations, V-mounts is going to be the better solution. However, if you're sort of doing situations where the cruise is smaller, you're not using as much gears like wireless systems, connecting multiple devices to it, I don't know how you not beat something like these guys. They charge incredibly fast. They power your cameras, your lights, your monitors, your iPhones, your computer. You can power all these different devices so easily with just this one of these guys, and just having two of them just makes things, the whole workflow go easier. Also, you probably noticed that this thing has been dangling for a while, particularly with this black one, which is one of the things where I like is drawstring. So one, this is strong enough to where if you put this on like a belt, you can basically put a loop it in a belt and it will dangle on your side. I've actually done this with the and then powered by Cinema Camera 6K from here. But what you may not notice is that this is actually a cable. It's a cable that you can connect to the device. So what's really cool about this is that, and it's 100 watts. So what's cool is that with this sort of setup, you always have a cable ready. So if you need to power something or phone dies or something, you can just go ahead, quickly plug it in, charge it, and you will be safer there. My final thoughts are, these are power banks that offer so much bang for their buck with very, very little compromises. If you're working with small mirrorless cameras, to me, this is no-brainer. You get way more value for this versus V-mount batteries, and it's easy to plug in, especially if you have a cable that charges, Type-C that charges. This is an amazing thing, and it's easy to just, even if you just like not using it, maybe you're using the internal battery, when you're transferring or going to locations in your car, it's easy to just plug this in, power your cables, and because it has that 100 watt, it's going to charge it really fast. In fact, these have been so popular. I've been loving them so much. I've been telling my family and my extended family about these, and almost every single one of them have bought this stuff. And they now use it with their computers and their phone, charging the phones, and they all love them because just how tiny it is. So, Iniu, great job with this. But this is going to do it for me, guys. I would love to know what you guys think of the Iniu power banks. Let me know. Leave your comments down below. And as always, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, take care, everyone.